Cheers! Good morning, everybody. Today is just going to kind of serve as like a little catch up to my workout routine since I have been going to a gym for the past few months. You guys really seem to like hearing about that, so here's more. As we chat, I'm just going to get ready for my day because she's a busy one. So I am sticking to the same split that I've been doing since the beginning: push, pull, and then a skills day. And when I'm planning out my workouts for the week, number one, not too much variation happens on a week-to-week basis because I am kind of thinking like longer term. So I'll typically do pretty similar movement patterns for about 8 weeks. That's because I want to give my body the time to get really good at something and really strong in something. I'm not going to get into like programming in this video too much, but if you want a whole in-depth video on programming, I might have already made one. I might have already made a shitty one. So if you want an updated one, let me know. But I'll pop up on the screen here everything that I'm trying to get in within a week. I try and hit each of these at least once over a 3-day span.
Justina here. I feel like that looked like a lot of different exercises to be getting in, but if you think about it, there's a lot of crossover. So for instance, if I'm doing a deadlift, that is going to be a hip dominant exercise, it is going to be an anti-extension exercise, and it is going to be a sagittal plane exercise. So there's 3 things right there crossed off the list.
I have noticed that some weeks I have to skip a day, whether it's due to being fatigued from teaching my group classes, or I started dancing again, or I just like literally don't have time. Like this week was a 2-day split because I'm traveling tomorrow, and well, I couldn't fit it in for other reasons that we'll talk about later. And usually the day that gets cut for me is my push day. Since we are specifically talking about push days right now, 2 of the big skills that I went in thinking that I wanted to get really good at were barbell front squats and barbell overhead pressing. And both of those things I don't like. So I don't do them anymore. I think I just like realized really quickly that I'm not actually that strong in those movement patterns. And so the barbell was just feeling like so wildly heavy that I wasn't even able to like get in a ton of reps. For instance, with the overhead pressing, so like most of my programming, I'm gonna want to hit minimum 6 reps. And with the overhead pressing, that was like kind of where I was at for like set number 1. And then set number 2, I'd have to like push press the last 2. And then set number 3, I'd have to push press half of them. And set number 4, it would have to be like all push presses. I know I could have taken the weight like fully off the bar and just be pressing that, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like fighting for a squat rack just to press the bar, which there is nothing wrong with. Like, you deserve to take up space. But it also like wasn't making me feel good about myself. I just kept being like, oh, I'm so weak, I can only press this, which is not a good mindset. But I just kind of decided that in the meantime, I would rather work on kettlebell overhead pressing because that's going to make me feel like a badass. And then when I'm ready, if I decide that I'm ready, I will be stronger because I built up some strength with that to go back to the barbell. And then on the flip side, with front squats, I am strong on my squats, but honestly, just like, I don't know, holding the barbell with like the wrist flexion, it was a lot. I know there's an alternate way, like you can cross your arms and hold it. I wasn't feeling super confident in that though. And I was like, I'd rather just use kettlebells. Because I think what we have to remember, this was one of the big reasons that I joined the gym, is that you should in some way, shape, or form like the exercises that you're doing. And 2 of my big lifts on my push days, I was like dreading. So what did I do? I still got in a knee dominant exercise and a vertical push by simply just switching out the modality that I was using. Easy as that. Remember, there's no like right or wrong way to get in those different movement patterns. It comes down to your goals and your enjoyment. On the more positive side, I have been loving the trap bar. I've been really excited because I finally worked my way up to like the big plates, like the 45-pound plates. So I've been deadlifting that pretty much like consistently for about a month, like 4 sets of 10. I've noticed my grip fatigues still by like the last set. So before I add on more weight, I just want to get my grip feeling a little bit stronger, but they've been feeling pretty smooth. And skills day, which is what I'm taking you along for today, has been my absolute favorite. So a lot of you know I've been getting this like kettlebell certification, just understanding a little bit more of the technique behind a lot of the skills, a little bit more programming stuff. We actually have our last lecture today, which is wild, but it's just kind of been like fun playtime. So I'm going to show you what that looks like and show you how I kind of format that workout. And that's actually the first thing we're doing today. Before we leave for the gym, obviously I have to get changed. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you an app that I'm using today to like write out the workout, but also on that app, who's that girl? You have to wait though. Let's get changed. Ready for the gym. We just have to finish our coffee. All right, let's talk a little bit about the little app that I'm using. So this is an app called Boostcamp, and this is not sponsored, but I was paid to create a gym program with them, and I want to share it with you guys because it is free to access. So the founder of Boostcamp reached out to me and was basically like, we work with different coaches who make like evidence-based training programs and put them on an app, and they're basically free for people to use. You can, I think, pay for like the upgrader to the pro version, and you get like timers, and you can like then create unlimited workout templates of your own if you want to take a stab at programming. But the app is like super sleek, and I liked their whole mission. And the thing is, people are probably like, well, why wouldn't you just do this yourself? Like, you own your own business. The way that I view my business is like mostly for people who probably work out at home and who enjoy follow along coaching. Now, that being said, there are a good enough chunk of people who have reached out to me that are just like, I go to the gym and I want like written programs. Can you provide that? And the written program part is the easy part. The hard part is the technology of how to like distribute that and distribute it well. So we're gonna kind of walk through it and we'll talk about my program that I wrote. So again, it's called Boostcamp. Here I am. So it's called Functional Strength 101, Get Stronger and Smarter in the Gym. So it's basically just like the basics of, okay, how can we program and how can we utilize push, pull, rotate, squat, hinge, like all of that really basic stuff. How can we see that 3 times a week in a full body, upper body, and lower body split? There's already 17 people on it. But like, look at some of these other programs. Like, I saw the other day, I had like, yeah, look at this, 20,000 people on that program. That's insane. Okay. So you can kind of like get a sneak peek of what the week looks like. This looks like a lot of exercises because I actually provided warm up. I just don't trust that people know what they're doing. If it's a beginner program in terms of a warm up, like just how to choose things strategically. So I want to show you what it looks like if we start day 1. So essentially you just go through, you can add in how many reps you did, you can check it off. And then for each of these, there is a video tutorial. And I think that's really helpful. Like, this is all like verbally cueing things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do. What I'm going to be doing today is making a custom workout with my skill day, which is another nice option. So you go to create, you can add an exercise. I'm going to do kettlebell swings. And it's nice that you can do target reps, target RPE, or rate of perceived exertion. So that's like how hard you find something. Typically people do like scale of 1 to 10. I'm also going to do kettlebell snatches. I'm also going to work on my Turkish get-ups. They have a lot of exercises in here. I'm also going to work on my push-ups. I'm going to create that program and then I can work on that today. So yeah, it is time now to finish my coffee, and then we have to get to the gym, and then we have a few clients today. It's a busy one. Let's go.
Walk out the door in my little black dress. Been a long day and I need to de-stress. Sun sets behind downtown skyline. My headphones on, play my favorite song. Turn the volume up all the way on my phone. Pulsing concrete under my feet. City is my club tonight. Hips way under traffic lights. Streets out glowing neon bright. It's a dance floor in moonlight. New age and life can get crazy. I just sit away like whoop, oh no. If I'm too serious then I might go crazy. I just sit away like whoop, oh no. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the radio, oh oh. Turn up the radio, I let it go. Turn up the
fun. So I just did those 4 exercises. I also filmed something really quickly for Instagram for Functional Friday. But I think something to remember is like most of the time with programming, less is more. I don't typically, like excluding the warm up, I don't typically do more than like 5 or 6 exercises in my programs. Group classes are a little bit different. Like we add stuff in to keep everybody entertained. For the most part, we're keeping it nice and simple. So I'll pop up on the screen here on the side how you can use the Boostcamp app to like track your weight, your reps, your RP. And I think it's really important, no matter how you're doing it, whether it's in an app, whether it's in your notes, whether it's handwritten somewhere, to track that information, because it's going to tell you a few things. It's going to tell you, A, are you progressing toward whatever your goal is? And B, it's going to give you information of how you can progress your exercises. That's something that I'm just super big on, is like making sure that you are making smart progressions to your different movements. So the answer doesn't always just need to be add more weight. The answer can be change your stance. The answer could be take a pause. The answer could be, for example, in my Turkish get-ups, I added in some snatches at the top to progress the exercise rather than just going up in weight. So there's a lot more ways that you can progress things simply by just adding weight. And if you want to see it in action, you can check out my free program. Okay, I'm going to go home. We have some clients. And then there's one other thing I want to chat about before I just let you guys go for the day. But let's keep getting on with our day.
Give me one margarita, I'm gonna open my legs. If you give her one margarita, that like can't be real.
Yeah, that's like great.
How does she not know they're fucking with her? Do you think everyone at that school just went and had a margarita party that night?
Instead, really take a specific inhale as you step back. So creating that core canister, shooting yourself back up, and then same exact thing for that squat. Your squat range of motion the second round, fantastic. It was actually a lot deeper. Might have just been because we were used to the motion. We haven't really done these before, but same thing. Big inhale, exhale, back up.
Hello. All right, I have to make lunch really quickly, and then I'm hopping into my final lecture for my kettlebell cert. But there's one other thing I wanted to just like really quickly touch on, and that is just kind of this idea of like gauging when you should and when you shouldn't train. Like I already talked about, I've been committing to a 3-day split, and I would say I commit to that about 75% of the time. And that's just kind of where I am right now. That 25%, I think most of that does come from like, oh, I went really hard teaching a group fitness class, or, oh, I went really hard dancing the night before. I'm gonna listen to my body and like take the night off, right? Or take the day off. Some of that does come every once in a while from like lack of motivation, but I'm pretty good about like, if it's in my calendar and if I can just remind myself like, you're gonna feel so good after you do this. Like this morning, I had the morning free and I was like, I could just lay on the couch and like watch TV or, scroll on my phone. But I just reminded myself, which is a tactic that works for me, you're gonna feel so good after you do this. But then there are also times where maybe you want to go work out, but you physically should not. So a really good example was actually yesterday. I don't know why, I have been dealing with issues sleeping, like either falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up way before my alarm, which is pretty odd for me. I've talked about it so many times before. I don't get enough sleep and I know that, but the sleep that I do get is like impeccable, like quality sleep. I always say like I sleep like a dead person. So it's been really odd for me to be experiencing this. And the other day I did not sleep. Like I went to bed at 10 p.m. and I just was awake until I had to get up at 5:15 to then go work with a client. But that was a day where I was supposed to actually do the skills day that I ended up doing today. And I had it programmed to my schedule. And for a second, I was like, should I still do this? Like, I don't want to skip it. I'm going away. It's my last workout before my vacation. And I was just like, Justina, no, like you're running on 0 sleep. I think this is just, a little added little piece of knowledge to drop in there. There is a fine line between discipline and digging yourself into a hole of like training when you really don't need to. The thing that's going to benefit you more than training is sleep. So I just want to like sprinkle that in there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I keep getting a lot of requests for just like behind the scenes of workouts and explaining why I'm choosing things. And I think a skills day is a good reminder that training should be fun. You should enjoy what you're doing. Like today is like, it's like me playing around at the gym. So if you do have that time in your schedule to add in like a play day, do it.
I'm going to leave all of the info linked below for Boostcamp in case you want to try it out. Again, it's completely free. You can do my program. You can just utilize the app that you saw that I did for my skills day today, or you can try someone else's program. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And I will see you all in the... Words have left me. I need to go eat lunch. I'll see you all next time. Bye.